I'm loving it.
Do do. Yeah, we had to slide in a little commercial thing since we talked about commercials a couple of our actual podcasts ago, but now we're going back to Steve Jeltz here. Got to do another our Philly sports centric podcast. We do talk about other sports, obviously, but we've had some happenings. The Phillies are looking pretty decent. Made some moves. The Eagles' season is right around the corner. And any notes on the Flyers or Sixers will throw down your way, or Union, or I don't know these other teams that might be Philly related. But
well, I can tell you right now, I don't know shit about the Union.
I don't either. I just wanted to say their name.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, they've got like one of the coolest fan club acronyms, the Sons of Ben, the SOBs. I can't think of anything but Gabbo want to hear SOB, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
We do have to say something though. It was toward about a week ago or so. The Union did play Wrexham, so
yeah.
We do say that.
A couple people I know were there. My buddy Jeff, he's a stuntman, was there, and he actually got to meet with Rob McElhenney because
That's awesome.
Was there supporting the. He was there and he met with all of the striking SAG-AFTRA workers who were in attendance and showed his support. So that was pretty cool. He got his picture with him and everything. And I mean, I don't know. Wrexham itself, I don't know too much about soccer. I will say that I think that the story, as I understand it, because I haven't watched that show either, because again, I just really I don't much care for soccer. It seems like a cool story where they took this team that was like a constant. Well, all right, the Phillies, say like the Phillies from the, I don't know, pick any period in Philly history where they weren't winning. For
1989, 90, 91, 92.
Right. Like these guys were like historically bad, decades. If I'm reading it correctly. And they took this team and they were like, look, man, we believe in you guys. We're going to invest in you guys. And it turned them around. And within 2 seasons, I think, they made it from, in soccer, what I do like about the soccer leagues is if you suck for long enough, you get demoted. You're no longer, it's like basically say, the Browns have been terrible for fucking ever. Even with Deshaun Watson last year, they weren't great. And so they didn't make the playoffs for so long and they had, they weren't good. So Alabama or Georgia gets bumped up from NCAA and they now play in the NFL and Cleveland has to go down into college ranks.
Yeah, it would be akin to having, let's say, you have your other professional leagues in the USFL, XFL that are still obviously tiered lower than the NFL. But if you actually had a system like baseball set up where you have, your major teams, your AAA, AA, whatever, and let's say they weren't necessarily, I guess they could still be affiliated, but maybe to a different degree. And yeah, your team is so bad that this team gets bumped down, and we're going to pull up either your affiliated team or a whole nother team.
Right.
And that's what happens in soccer. And you're right; it's really cool concept. They get basically their entire team gets kicked out of a league,
right,
and they get sent back to whatever league they may have come from, or just something that's lower or not as prestigious. And that's basically what happened at Wrexham. And they kind of really got that turned around, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did real quick. It's amazing what 2 millionaire part owners will do for you.
Yeah. There's nothing to do with that, is there?
Nah.
But it is pretty neat though, because my understanding too was not only were they floundering in the win-loss column, if you will, I think they were almost basically out of existence.
Yeah,
it seemed like so. It's really cool, but yeah, no. Let's move on to things that we actually do know. We don't know soccer, but we know baseball, and we got to talk about this to kind of open up because we have just crossed the trade deadline. The Phillies make some interesting moves. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. So one, they make a trade with the Detroit Tigers to acquire Michael Lorenzen, who's a starting pitcher. He actually, is quite a talented player. He, could work with the bat a bit too. Although I don't think the Phillies see that in him at this point. But Lorenzen was, has been around the block for a while. Has been in the league for about a decade now or so. Made his way through with the Reds. Played for the Nationals, the Tigers. I'm trying to see if he did anything else. He did have a little brief stint with the Angels as well. Not the Nationals, I'm sorry. The Reds, the Angels, the Tigers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the Nationals there. But yeah, so he's been in the league for 10 years. Pretty much your middling pitcher. He's a good 3 or 4 starter. That's what his career has kind of shown. But no, I really, really like this trade. They basically traded out I'm not saying the guy was low level, but he was not nearly one of our top prospects.
Right.
At least at the top when I'm saying Griff McGarry, Abel, Painter in that breath. I like this. I like this trade when it happened because I thought this was a perfect fit for what they needed right now, and it was basically you're not giving up much to get a guy like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
Low risk, high reward move.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Joe Blanton.
Yeah. Yeah. The only concern here with Lorenzen is that to this point in his career, like I said, he's on year 9 or 10 or whatever. In his major league career, he is at the maximum amount of innings. He's already surpassed it in a season. When he started with Cincinnati in 2015, 113 innings. And then at that point forward, he basically became a reliever. So up until him starting games again, really last season, he's not pitched more basically than 80, 90 innings. So it'd be curious to see how he holds up. Is he stretched out? Is he going to burn out toward the end? I'd just be really curious to see how that goes, especially if the Phillies make a run in the playoffs.
Right.
Where does he fit in with that? So I don't know. I like that move a lot. And then they make another move. They get rid of Bailey Falter, who it just kind of sucks. Bailey was brought up, kind of gave us some decent work, and then for whatever reason just couldn't find the strike zone. And then honestly, I don't know. Did you look at his numbers in AAA at all?
Mm-mm.
Just I want to look him up real quick. It's just not good.
Yeah, he seems to have. We've talked about the yips before, and it's almost like he's got a really, really bad case of the yips.
Yeah. So,
we saw with Chuck Knobloch that can really alter the trajectory of your career.
He and I say not good, meaning the fact that look, this guy was a 6-4 pitcher for us last year with a sub-4 ERA. He comes in this season and goes 0-7 with an ERA hovering around 5. And they sent him back down to AAA, and he struggles to basically attain a 2-1 with a 4 ERA. The things that I don't really like, though, is the strikeout to walk ratio: 37 strikeouts and 23 walks in AAA.
Oh yeah,
and it just that kind of, and to me, this was reminiscent of the change of scenery deals that we've seen before. So look, I don't know much about Rodolfo Castro. But I don't think Bailey Falter.
He was the dude that got suspended because his cell phone flew out of his pocket when he slid in the second.
Yep, that's about as much as I knew about him too.
So as long as he keeps his cell phone in the dugout, or not in the dugout, in the locker room where it belongs, I think we'll be all right.
So we have that, and we have some other moves going on, and there's one I'm really curious to hear what you have to say, because these moves were what they were. They end up DFAing and releasing Josh Harrison. No love lost there. Josh Harrison wasn't giving us anything.
Yeah, he wasn't doing
nothing there. But then this really curious move where they DFA Andrew Vasquez and keep Dylan Covey.
Yeah, I don't understand it, man. Covey's got something on somebody.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
He's got dick pics of somebody, or he's got I don't know. He's got something over somebody's head.
I was I was trying to, in my head, figure out what the rationale would be, and I still don't know. My only thing that I could figure out or surmise with the Dylan Covey situation is that he could throw multiple innings in a game as reliever. He's kind of a long man, where Vasquez certainly was not. Vasquez was kind of more of a one inning and he was done.
Right.
The thing that I'm thinking with Covey, other than him having something on somebody, is that Alvarado goes and I believe this week and throws a batting practice session, and then we'll see if he's ready for a rehab assignment. Covey's obviously the next one to go. Yeah. Alvarado gets reinstated, Covey's gone. And I'm thinking right now they're just using his arm in situations where they need innings, and I don't think that they're going to get that from Vasquez. While they're trying to protect other relievers in the pen and not burn out the starters who obviously that was a problem last year. Nolan Wheeler kind of both got long in the tooth toward the end there. So,
and Nola's showing that shit again.
Yep. So that was the only thing I could figure other than him having,
So let me ask you this. What do you think of, based on what we're seeing from the starting staff now and having Lorenzen now, what do you think of running it out as a 6-man rotation?
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. I love it. I think it's good because I'm hoping it does kind of curtail some of those innings that Nolan Wheeler were getting. And I, based off the one start we've seen, looks like Lorenzen can certainly eat some innings up, which is nice. And adding that extra body in there too. I mean, you still have Ranger doing his thing, and Christopher Sanchez has done great work out of the fifth spot.
Revelation, man.
Yeah, so I mean, you have these other pitchers that are really doing their thing now. Where Lorenzen fits in on a playoff roster, I don't know. Is he your 4? I mean, I would obviously think that you have Wheeler, Nola, Ranger up top. I don't, does Lorenzen slot into the 4th in that, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question because, dude, honest, I was so hoping that we would somehow trade Nola at the deadline. I know it's kind of counterintuitive for a contender to sell on one of their quote unquote top 2 or 3 pitchers. Dude, I wanted to love him, but I can't even like him because he's so inconsistent. He's not an ace. He's not a 2. He's maybe a 3, borderline 3, 4 to me.
Yeah.
He's too inconsistent.
What playoff rotation? What do you think? 3-man, 4-man?
I think they're going to go 4-man because I think it's going to be
Wheeler, Nola, Taiwan. I don't think you can take those 3 out. And I guess you go Ranger or Lorenzen at that point.
Right. And then maybe even depending upon the series, like if they make it past the first round or if they make it deeper into the playoffs, then maybe you're alternating your 4 spot, maybe. I don't know. I just kind of, it's hard for me to go into the playoffs. And I know you can't take Nola out of your rotation. You just can't unless he gets hurt. But God, it's hard for me to be excited about a rotation going into the playoffs, knowing that we've got the ticking time bomb that is Aaron Nola as one of our top pitchers.
Yeah, and let's look at him right now. Advanced metrics, his WAR is 1.1, 9-8 with a 4.58 ERA. That's not great. No. Zach Wheeler, 2.6 WAR, so a bit better than 8-5 record, 3.71. So he's basically his career averages at this point. He's giving you good innings. And the other one though, Taiwan Walker, who won game number 13 today. So he's got an ERA that's I believe just a touch under 4. It's 13-4. And the cool thing is, if I've heard the note correctly, I believe in the games he started. So he has now started for the Phillies 23 games overall.
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies have won 17 of those 23 of the games he started. So that's pretty That's pretty good. Tells me he's obviously getting some support, but his numbers are showing that he's at this point basically been as good or maybe a touch better than Wheeler.
Right. And he's like right now, according to what did you say his record is?
He just won game number 13 today, so I know reference doesn't update until basically overnight. But
yeah, so going into today, he was tied for the lead in wins in the National League.
Yeah.
So he's doing he's doing what he's got to do, and the team's stepping up behind him. And I don't know, man. Maybe that's part of the issue with Nola. Maybe the team knows he's so hot and cold, and they kind of, I don't know, because it seems like they don't put up for him. It's kind of like the stuff that Cole, remember Cole used to deal with that all the time. He would pitch a great game and he would get no run support at times.
Right.
And it seems like it's the same thing with Nola, but to a higher degree because at least Cole was fairly consistent. You knew every time Cole went out, by and large, you were going to get a good quality start out of him. But again, Nola, it's good Nola and bad Nola, and you don't know which one's going to pop up.
Yep. Yeah, and the crazy thing on the other side of the coin today, and as we record this, it's August the 6th. Zach Greinke, who an amazing pitcher for years and years and years and years. This just mind-boggling to me at this point where he's at in this season. Were you aware of how bad of a season this guy's having?
No.
He's 1-12 now with an ERA of 5.53.
Fuck.
And I know the Royals have been really, really bad.
Yeah.
He's not helping himself.
No. Not with that fucking ERA.
Yeah, 1-12. I couldn't believe it.
Jesus.
I mean,
now what's his ground ball rate? How many home runs has he given up?
Yeah, let me look up more of his advanced numbers. Because obviously win-loss record doesn't really tell you the whole story.
Right.
So as far as his advanced numbers go, like his batting average against this season, batters are hitting nearly, it's about 280 or over 280 on him. He's, it's just not good. Like they're hitting him. He's getting hit a lot. And then if you look at he's 39. I didn't realize he was up there now.
So he's started 21 games and he's only got 69 strikeouts.
Yeah, that was just up till today. Yep.
And he's only pitched 100. He's pitched 106.2 innings, and he's only got 69 strikeouts.
He's not walking a lot. He's just based on what I'm looking at number wise. The high batting average again started last year. To me, he's just leaving too much of the ball over the plate.
Yeah. It might be time for him to hang it up, man.
Yeah, after this season, I can't imagine he's going to stick around much longer.
Because let's look. So his career ERA is 3.48.
Yeah, which is very, very good. The guy's got Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah, he's almost at 3,000 strikeouts for his career. He only needs 49 more. So maybe he plays one more year to try to get to that 49 strikeouts or to that 3,000 strikeouts.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, his strikeout numbers are so low now. I mean,
you just gotta figure at this point, hopefully somebody would sign him to pitch.
Yeah, and Zach Greinke, look, I was pulling up this list. It's basically like the Hall of Famers and their respective WAR, and so he's in the 76 range. So he's basically in the top 100. He has a similar WAR as well. Robin Yount, Ozzie Smith, Paul Molitor, and our own Johnny Bench, all Hall of Famers. Right. But that's the company he keeps if you look at that metric only. So I think he's a Hall of Famer personally, just based off his track record.
Yeah.
And looking at some of his other numbers here, let me just pull something real quick on him. The guy's won a Cy Young, 6-time Gold Glover, 6-time All-Star. Never won the World Series though, so that's certainly something that could be suspect on him. I don't know.
You know what? Hey, let Kansas City release him, and the Phillies can sign him, and then he'll win a World Series.
Just not pitch.
Yeah, he'll be on the team. He just won't pitch. Okay. Like maybe we'll let him go in for like batting practice or something.
Like, hey man, Brandon Marsh is hurt. Can you just dump water on people when we win?
Yeah, that's all. Can you be in charge of the Phillies daycare for a little bit? Call you Grandpa Granky,
exactly.
Which I shouldn't say because he's fucking younger than both of us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Actually,
all right,
he might be the same age. Wait, when were you born?
No, I'm 41 now. Yeah, he's younger than me.
Oh yeah, okay.
39.
Right. Yeah.
So,
God damn it!
I know we're getting old, man. All right.
Why is everybody younger than us?
I don't know. Wish I knew. All right, we got the bird season right around the corner. You got any good bird notes?
So we let go of Davion Taylor, linebacker. Had some flashes. His best year, he ended up getting hurt after becoming a starter, and he never really reached the same levels he was at. I think it was 2020. He gets released. We get Josh Sills back, who was he's an offensive lineman that we have that was embroiled in a sexual assault case, and so that came out, I think, the week of the Super Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that. And it was like I guess, did it date back to when he was in college?
Yeah, it was from like 2019, I think. And he was found not guilty. So he's back on the team. I don't know how long he'll be on the team because I don't know that they want, there's certain characteristics the team looks for, and I can't imagine. And it's right or wrong. I can't imagine the team is going to keep him around. Maybe give him a fresh start. I don't know. He's a guy that's going to be scraping for a roster spot.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a practice squad guy.
The big news that we've got is we've signed 2 linebackers, and one of them being Miles Jack, who was highly touted coming out of college. He's bounced around the league a little bit, led the Steelers in tackles last year. So he's kind of a known quantity who's hoping to kind of revive his career. And this might be a good place for him to do it, considering the some injuries that we've had and just the lack of just talent at linebacker we have overall. He was drafted, by the way, 36th overall by the Jaguars in the second round in the 2016 draft.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his career numbers in 103 games. He's got 6.5 sacks. He's got 396 solo tackles and 2 forced fumbles. So he's a good solid positional depth player, and he'll be good for what we need him for. The other guy is Zach Cunningham, and you had brought up something really interesting about Zach Cunningham because I wasn't too familiar with him.
Yeah, I we get a lot of Tennessee football down here, and so I tend to watch some Titans games when I can. And I knew the name sounded familiar, but he was basically kind of a cup of coffee with Tennessee in 21 after being basically released by Houston, and then doesn't play many games last year. I don't know the rationale there. I don't know if he was hurt, so I can't speak to that. But this guy is very similar numbers overall career-wise to Miles Jack. He's a linebacker as well, but 82 games, 6.5 sacks, 392 solo tackles over his career, including a season in 2020 where he led the league in combined and solo tackles. So from that, he came through with Houston, spent the first like 4.5-ish because he had that stint in 21 where he didn't spend the whole season using with Texans. So that's where he kind of made his made his mark. And then I don't know. I don't know if it was off the field stuff or an injury or whatever, but ends up in Tennessee and doesn't do much. So let's see what we get. The Birds can get anything out of him.
Yeah, and look. Here's the deal: if things go the way that they should go, if we have the kind of production from our team that we're hoping to have, Nakobe Dean's your starting middle linebacker. He got a little bit banged up, and I think that's what kind of spurred Howie to go out and sign these guys. But he got a little banged up. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. But you've got him. You've got Nicholas Morrow, who the Bears let walk, and then replaced with T.J. Edwards from us. You've got what is his name? Ellis, Christian Ellis, who's been with the team for a couple of years now, but he's really been like splashing in camp. Basically, he's been showing up big time. Then for your outside linebackers, you've got Nolan Smith, you've got what is his name? Ben Van Summeren, who's an undrafted free agent who's just an athletic freak, and you've got a handful of other guys that are here. But it never hurts to have more depth at linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm good with bringing them in, if for nothing else, competition too.
Yeah, no, and yeah, and I want to go back to Zach Cunningham real briefly too. He was basically out for a good part of last season with an injury, an elbow injury. He actually ended the season on the IR, and he was released by the Titans because he failed his physical. So I would imagine the release on the failing the physical was obviously all result to the injury. So this could be an interesting pickup anyway for the Birds. Again, whether it creates competition or it's a depth move that really has no bearing on anything. It very well could, though, based on if someone else gets hurt or if someone steps up. It's like, I got to prove a point. I got to make money.
Right.
Because sometimes that happens. If a player gets shelved for a year or two and they're not doing anything, and now it's like, I see that I'm getting toward maybe what might be the end of my career. I want to try to show up, and maybe I can eke out one more contract from somebody that's worth a darn.
Right. And here's the thing: both of them are here on one year deals.
1 year deals. Yep.
So, we've got. Here we go. So yeah, Davion Taylor was cut today. Patrick Johnson was carted off the practice field with an injury.
Yeah.
And Nakobe Dean missed some time with being injured. So I don't know what Patrick Johnson's injury is, but if they're carting him off, typically that ain't good.
Yeah, that's typically that's a season ender.
Yeah, it's going to be a soft tissue injury, a ligament, something not good, something that you're not going to come back from this year, or at least you're either not coming back this year or you're going on IR and missing at least the first 6-8 weeks of the season.
Right, and the good thing is, you have players like Miles Jack that are sitting out there that they can, obviously kind of shore that position up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, injuries happen. It sucks. It's part of the game, obviously, contact sport. But hopefully that's the thing. It's like you have enough depth, you have enough whatever to kind of be like, okay, as long as we're for the most part okay,
yeah,
we can interchange these pieces and hopefully make another good run for it.
Right.
But no, it's interesting. Season's right around the corner. What are we, about a month away now?
Yeah, we are. What day is it? The 6th. So yeah, we are just over a month away from NFL football being back on our TV screens. Matter of fact, actually, we may be 1 month exactly because there is I don't know if there's a Wednesday and a Thursday game, or let's see. Let's go to the schedule and let's take a look because I don't remember off the top of my head. But
it looks like it's a Thursday game.
Is it a Thursday game?
I believe so. Yeah, Thursday is September 7th with the Lions playing the Chiefs.
There we go. So we're right there, man. We are right there. Wait, are you sure?
I think so.
Because
I'm looking up 23-23 or
20. Wait a second. Are they doing that bullshit where they call it like? Okay, so it's Sunday Night Football on Thursday, is what they're doing.
Oh, is it because it's aired on the other channel?
Yeah. So it's a special presentation of Sunday Night Football on Thursday. I hate when they do that shit.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Because I looked at
rest of the Thursday games are Amazon.
Right. I clicked on the Thursday night football on the website, on the NFL site, and it's not there. So that's why I questioned you. And then I click on, let me see. Sunday night football? Yup. No, it's not on Sunday night football. Put it under the fucking Thursday night football game because it's not on a Sunday. What the fuck, NFL? It's not that hard.
Well, I had to look because I was curious to see the Prime schedule for this year, because that was one thing. Look, Prime got dogged mainly for the teams that they put there each week. It's like the NFL is like, here, you can show these guys.
Yeah.
You can have these teams. And they were just, I know it was kind of a running joke, but it was like, this is the worst game of the week each week based on just the teams that were playing. The other thing that hurt them too is the presentation wasn't great.
No.
I didn't really have any issues with like lag or anything. I thought that worked okay for me for the most part.
Right.
You kind of take it for what it's worth when you're streaming things. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But like, I dove in on one or two of the weeks to check out their advanced stats feed and watch that one instead, and was like, I don't understand what's advanced about this. Like, they're not showing me really much of anything different than is on the regular feed. It looks worse. And like the advanced stats they're showing are like, I don't know. I don't really care how many hot dogs the guy and
that's what I was just gonna say. It's like Joe Thomas once sat down and ate 15 pizzas in one sitting.
Exactly. Like I don't care how many. It's just so dumb. But
right.
But now the funny thing is that they're doing one preseason game, Colton Birds. Week 2 they start off Vikings and the Eagles. So
right.
They actually have.
Hey, look, man. Here's what sucks. I'm not off for any games until I think the 3rd or 4th week of the season. Like I get to see I will be sitting at work watching these fucking games, or the opening week. I might be able to watch it before I go to work if nobody calls out.
Gotcha.
So other than that, I'm gonna be screwed.
Well, the funny thing is, as you kind of go on with the season, their last prime game they have, Jets and the Browns.
Dude, I don't like saying this because I don't want people wishing harm on the Birds. But God, if there's two teams where if both of their starting quarterbacks got hurt in week 1 or in the preseason or something, I'd be 100% okay with it. Is the Browns and the Jets. What unlikable pieces of shit they managed to get.
Oh, I tell you what, man. And we could go on and on and on and have a whole episode about Deshaun and A.A. Ron. But yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine the Rodgers experiment working well with the Jets. He's just too out there now.
Yeah.
Too many whatever he's on, ayahuasca, whatever that's
ayahuasca.
Wow, yeah, that's it.
I will say this, man. I wanted to. I've heard some good things about ayahuasca, and I heard that it's good for depression and anxiety and treating all that shit. And I feel like it might help me. But if Aaron Rodgers is doing it, I don't want to do it.
Probably not good if you're a quarterback.
Yeah. Like because it's look, man. Ayahuasca isn't something you do like want. Do you know anything about it?
I just know that it's it's mind altering. It's about as much as I know about it.
So it's like you have to go to like a retreat and do it it's at least a 2 to 3 day process. It should actually, if I remember correctly, it's like multiple days, even beyond the 2 or 3 days. And you have to do guided meditation, and you throw up, and you shit and piss yourself, and it's very intense. But it supposedly helps a lot of people through a lot of things, a lot of past traumas, and a lot of so there is good that I've heard about it. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to cause it to get a bad name.
Yeah.
and I hate that he's tainting it with his stupidity.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think the experiment with the Jets is going to work very well, personally. Deshaun, obviously, I guess this is what, year 2 for him?
Yeah.
Or first full year, I should say.
First full year. Well, let's see if he makes it through the full year.
Yeah, without getting in trouble or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as other teams out there, we've talked about it previously here, just kind of, running down some NFL stuff like we have in the past. I don't know, man. I've got a lot of faith in the Birds. I'm not saying that just as a fan, but if I'm looking at that outside the box, man, they look good. I from all accounts, this is another Super Bowl team to me.
I hope so, man. Look, all I can say is that at least, I do want us to stop talking about the Super Bowl as far as, oh, we got fucked in the Super Bowl by the pass interference play, or we got, the grass or whatever. I want us to stop talking about that as a fan base, because it makes us look just like the damn 49ers fans who can't stop whining about, oh, we tried to block a pass rusher with a third string tight end, and our quarterback got hurt. No, dude. You lost because you didn't have a complete roster. Stop fucking whining. You weren't going to beat us anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, yeah.
Don't just shut up. Stop whining. Stop fucking whining.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of go back and forth on looking at some other teams that might be strong. Overall, I could easily see this being another rematch if I go all the way on both sides.
Yeah.
I could easily see the Bills being there again, up top. Maybe not. I don't know that the Bills make it if they've got to go through the Chiefs. I think the Bills could make it if they don't have to go through the Chiefs, personally.
I think you're going to see either the Bills are going to go to the Super Bowl, or the Bills aren't going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's a good thing. What about the Bengals? I mean, Joe Burrow, I think there's some and
he's already injured.
Exactly. So, when is he due back?
I think he'll be back by the first week. It was a calf injury, I believe. He was carted off, but they said that it was like a strain.
So he'll be back by week 1. So he might not be at full strength. For the first couple of weeks of the season, then.
Right, and that's the thing. And the deal is this. So, hold on. It was a calf strain, and he may miss week 1.
Okay, so not really much on the season for him then.
No, but when you start with those soft tissue injuries early in the season, that's when you start developing bad mechanics. That's when you start changing your game, and it could be complete bullshit. He might not have any issues, right? I might just be talking out my ass. But typically when players start off with those kind of injuries, not only does it take them a little bit to get going, but something about your game changes, whether it's a subconscious decision that you make, or something. You're going to be playing it a little bit different.
Yeah.
So for the sake of the league, I hope that he comes back and he's 100% healthy and he's good and he's Joe Burrow, because the league is better when you have your best players playing to their potential.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And when you have your stars too,
right?
And you look at it that side, those are the people that will draw people to watch it that aren't necessarily full-time football fans. I have, people that, really started latching on to football in the last few years. And Joe Burrow's a name that's always brought up because they love his presentation off the field. He's just very over the top and whatever. And look, he's a good looking young kid.
Right.
So that's going to draw a whole nother set of the audience that's not necessarily you or me that are football fans. And so it's a good overall for the game. He's not on the field. He's not drawing those eyeballs over to the product.
Hey, let me ask you this, because we just did talk about the Bills, and this just popped into my head, and I want to see what you think. So you heard the early rumblings about Stephon Diggs not being happy in Buffalo, correct?
Yes.
So do you think that there's a possibility of, and I won't say completely a TO situation happening because he's obviously not out from camp doing sit-ups in his driveway talking to the media and stuff. But how do you think that discourse, do you think that he lets that affect his season? Or do you think that becomes a non-factor once the games start being played?
Yeah, I don't know. I would lean on more the non-factor, mainly because I think the guy is just I think he has enough talent and maybe enough professionalism to kind of supersede anything that's going to potentially, distract from his on-field play. I could be completely wrong. I don't necessarily see that with him. But I could also see him being like, ow, my knee.
Oh,
or a very, very like way, kind of roundabout way of saying, I'm going to screw the team over, but I'm not going to do it in the way that everyone thinks I'm going to do it.
So speaking of ow my knee, what do you think of the running back teleconference that they had?
You have to fill me in on this because I don't.
So Austin Eckler called for a Zoom meeting with all of the top running backs in the league to try to figure out how they can collectively raise the value of the running back position and make sure that they're all getting paid more money. One of the suggestions he had was to not play hurt. Was you get hurt, maybe you stay out an extra week or two. Maybe you don't. Tell me how that helps your position.
Yeah, and it okay. So if you stay out the extra week or two, you're expecting to get more money when you play less.
Right. And not only that, but it gives your backup a chance to step in and outperform you.
Exactly.
And show that you're not necessary.
Which we've seen that time and time again.
Right.
I mean, that's not.
So how is this? And that was what it seemed like. Some of the players that were coming out of it were like, "Yeah, that was a dumb meeting." Like some of them came out of it like, "We got to fix this, but this ain't
That wasn't the way to do it." No. And look, hey, if you're legitimately hurt, of course, don't play. That's common sense.
There's a difference. Are you hurt or are you injured? Because if you're hurt, you rub some dirt on it and you get back in there. If you are injured, you physically cannot compete or you're going to hurt your team. So you don't play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's weird. And then look, we both know this. Everyone, football fan knows this. Running back is a short shelf life, mainly because of all the bumps and the whatever. But that's not the right way to approach it. Honestly, it's like you're trying to get paid. Yeah, that ain't it. And Eckler's got all the talent in the world, man. I absolutely love seeing the numbers he runs up, but that's not. Yeah, no,
not smart. I do want to pick your brain on one thing that happened, and we'll kind of be jumping away from football real quick, but we haven't mentioned it yet, and I wanted to get your opinion. I've seen both sides of this topic be broached, but the Trea Turner game. So the game where he came up to bat and the fans gave him a standing ovation.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know why? Because it's a Philly thing, and it's not just every Philly fan, loves to crap on people that are underperforming. We've seen that for years. It's like, you know what? They started kind of a social media movement to say, we're not going to crap on this guy. Let's just cheer for him. Because as it's been put to me from Danielle, it's like you're basically in a relationship with this guy for the next decade, and you're in year one, and you're going to sit there and like just crap on the guy. It's probably not going to end well.
Right.
Show the guy a little bit of love. He's struggling year one on a contract. A lot of players do it. We saw with Castellanos last year.
Right.
We saw it with, I don't know, I could think of a bunch of other ones.
Right.
But you see it around the league too. A lot of times, a lot of players, when they sign a big contract, they typically underperform from the years that brought them up to that point, just because of adjustments with the new city, new fan base, whatever it may be. Turner comes up yesterday and smashes a 3-run home run in a super timely moment too. Basically, when Marsh has to walk off the field, thinking that his season might be over. Thank God it's not. But maybe that ovation helped him out. I don't know. It seems like it has.
Right.
He doubled after that, and I think he got another hit today.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm all for it, man. I know. So we went to a game about a month ago, and there was a bunch of people at the bank. They started the wave. Whatever. Look, I've been at many places that do the wave. And this fan sitting about 6 rows in front of us looks all up at us and goes, "This is Philly. We don't do the wave." And it's like, look, pal, we're in a sporting event. I don't care if you're in Philly or you're in Chicago or New York. You have 35,000 other people that are doing it right now. It's like, drop that mentality.
Right.
If you want to get rid of the whole mentality of we threw snowballs at Santa Claus and we threw this and we did that, then stop having that negativity.
Right. And that's bullshit anyway, because I remember as a little kid going to the vet and people doing the wave.
Exactly, because that was something to do, especially whenever the team was losing, for God's sakes, which was all the time.
Right. So
what did you think of the Turner thing though? Because I loved it, honestly.
Yeah. So, well, first let me just say that guy is that fake ass wannabe tough guy that's got to go to the games, and he's probably the same asshole that dumps beer on fucking other fans and shit.
Oh yeah, because he did it and then sat down all grumpy. And what was sad too, because he looked it up at us in our direction. Man, there was like 50 kids, including my own, around, and it's like, dude, like
shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, so here's what I've seen online is I've seen people saying that it was contrived and people saying that it was disingenuous. And I call bullshit because you know what? Yeah, it started as a social media thing. Yeah, maybe one of the radio stations or whoever got involved. But at the end of the day, it's a good idea. I don't give a shit who came up with it. When one of your dudes is struggling, when one of your players, the guys that's on your team is struggling, what's more productive? He's clearly having some kind of mental issue with this shit. So what do? You supposed to sit there, like you said, you're supposed to sit there and shit on him? No. You try to give him some love. Try to psych him up. Come on, man, you can do this. If your kid's having a bad day, you're not going to walk up to your kid and fucking boo him.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be like, all right, dude, look, we're gonna get through this. I'm not like Peyton's not getting off the bus and I'm not outside. I go, boo, boo, you suck. No, you're trying to lift them up. You're trying to help them out. And so to see the entire stadium pretty much stand up and give him an ovation, you don't think that doesn't take some of the weight off of his shoulders?
Exactly.
It's disingenuous. It's fuck you.
Exactly. And it's Trea hits that 3-run home run yesterday, and man, that place blew up like they won the World Series.
Right.
And for him to feel that, come on. So now that's going to be kind of in his mind, like, dude, do I wish that I would have seen the guy perform better? Of course, we all do.
Right.
And maybe it would have been worth another 2 or 3 wins on our column, but not enough to catch Atlanta right now.
Right.
And it's like, look, we are where we are right now because of other things, and it's not just him.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. If you're going to take and dump a lot of money into a guy, obviously you're going to expect them to perform, but you also can't take the misgivings of an entire team sport on the him.
And that's the thing too, is you look at it like this, right? Philly's an intimidating place to play. And I think any player on any team that's played for us or that's played against us will say that it's a hard place to play. And especially, we, like you said, we don't have the best the best reputation across the league. So don't you think that maybe that weighed on him a little bit? Maybe that was still weighing on him. Like, shit, he's putting pressure on himself. Like, man, these people are expecting all this. I signed this massive contract, and now I'm going out here and fucking up every. That just shows him, look, man, it's okay. We get it.
And
we're
I want to
still here for you.
I want to close this up by something. I don't know if you have caught this or not yet, and anything, and I'll be paraphrasing this because I kind of heard this on my drive back today. I do have to say this. It is baseball related. I drove back from Evansville, went to a baseball game in Evansville, Indiana last night, which was at Bosse Field, which is I believe the third oldest operating professional baseball field in America. And they actually filmed part of a league of their own there.
Nice.
So yeah, really, really cool place. I highly recommend it. So cool experience. But so anyway, driving back from Evansville, Indiana today, and Phillies win post-game show on the radio, and they interview Bryce. And this is pretty much in relation to the Trea Turner, thing. Not in so many words anyway. And Bryce flat out came out and said today that he wishes that he had played in Philadelphia his entire career. He said it point blank. We all knew that,
right?
But he actually said it, and it was like, whoa. And it's like, boy, I wonder how Nationals fans feel now. But he said he could not imagine playing anywhere else. He said, of course it's hard, but he said that's what makes it the best. And it was like, that's really, the fact that he said he wishes he had played there his entire career, that just speaks volumes, man. And I was, and basically it was because of the Trea Turner, he was essentially questioned the same way.
Right.
And, that was his response. And was like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Really, really awesome.
I love hearing it. Because, he is going to be here for the rest of his career. He signed a contract with a no trade clause, no movement clause, dude. And that's all we want. We want our players to go out there and care as much as we do. And you know how we can get them to care as much as we do is show them how much we care about them.